Hello everyone, it's Georgia here, and this is the journal kind of project for the August 2020 virtual art retreat, Your Faith Has Made You Well. And every retreat we do a few different projects. We do a Bible journaling page, we do an off-the-page kind of project or a day call, something like that. And then we do something that's kind of like a journal or a booklet, something that we can write in. And I thought with this theme, I was thinking of doing some sort of little folio kind of project, kind of similar to what we did back in, I believe it was in May, when we did our first secret journaling retreat. And I'm really sorry if I'm getting really boring doing the same kind of things every month. But this evening I actually had a bit of a thought. This thought came into my head of what I wanted to use this particular journal / folio for. Now, as I think I've mentioned before, I am streamlining the way I run the retreat projects now. And instead of making huge, great, big, fancy-pantsy kind of projects that are taking all my time, and we're becoming more about the fun and the project rather than the reason for the retreat, I'm simplifying the projects a little bit and making at least one of them, if not all of them, projects that make us think about what we're actually doing at this retreat. So I actually had this thought this evening, and I was out at the time at a thing, and I had to rush back home really quickly and take all my supplies out and get my brain going because I had this wonderful thought. I am going to make a little folio that is actually going to be a medical report folio, and there are two reasons for it. One of them is the theme of the retreat, which is all about healing. The other reason is because I actually have an actual specific purpose for this folio. I will be using it during the retreat, and I will actually talk about that in my group, God's Refrigerator. So girls and Guy in the group are quite used to my TMI, too much information moments. I might be having one of those, and I'll let you know exactly what it is that I plan to do with this, because I've had this wonderful idea and I'm really excited about it. So what I'm doing is I'm working backwards, because on the back of this folio I'm actually going to have an envelope. And so I started off with the envelope, and then I will take all my measurements from the envelope so that everything works out and fits. Now, I've made my own envelope. I've used this paper from Photoplay. It's the Living the Quarantine Life collection, and this particular page is called COVID-19. And on one side it has the medical chart kind of design, which I've used for the envelope. The other side has got the little viruses, and I think it's quite interesting that it's worked out this way, that I wasn't actually thinking about the reverse side when I made the envelope. I was just thinking I want the envelope to have this design on the back because it's kind of simple and plain but medical-ish, and I can embellish it a little bit if I want to. But then I thought, oh, this is really brilliant, because when you open it, all the virus is on the inside, so it's there's some meaning there, I don't know. Oh, here she goes. Yeah, so yeah, as usual, lots of secret journaling is not necessarily in the journaling. Sometimes it's in all the other stuff. So there's lots of secret stuff going on there with the fact that the viruses are inside the envelope sealed away. Now, what I want to do is make the main cover of the folio medical report. I'm not sure what I'm going to call this yet. We'll find out. Now, I want it to be basically something that opens up. It's going to be such a simple project, and how complicated you make it is up to you. Mine's going to be rather simple. It's going to be a very simple color scheme, blue and white, but then I'll sort of add some embellishments and designs, and the real work, for lack of a better word, will actually be in the journaling and the thing that I use it for. So what I want is a folio cover that opens up like a card, and on the very back of it will be this envelope. So I want it to be a little bit taller than the envelope. So I'm going, all right, well, my envelope is about 6.5 inches. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to sort of eyeball it for now. I'm using a thin cardstock, which I don't even know the brand. It's a blue, and it's sort of got I don't know if you can see it, but it has like a lined texture. So I'm keeping the lines going up and down. So I'm thinking, if my envelope, I wanted a little bit of space like this, so I'm thinking that would be a good size. So in case you really, really want measurements, it's just over 7.5 inches tall. But however big you make yours, depends on the envelope that you're using. So add that to my stash of stuff on the side. So that is, and then I want it a tiny bit bigger. So I'm sort of going, all right. So say I want it about here. Okay, 5 inches across. So I would then want this to be 10 inches because I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm thinking the texture of this card is only on one side. So I'm going to fold it this way so that the lined texture is on the outside of my, I think we'll call it a medical report. I like that. I think it's kind of, I could just get the scoreboard out at this point. Instead of fiddling around here, it's sliding all over the glass mat for some reason. But here we go. So that is simple so far. The folio will open up. It's going to be something inside, and this will be stuck on the back. The ultimate doctor's report can go in there. Okay, so what I want now is I want to make another little, same concept as this, just a simple open up in a contrasting color to go on the inside. So I want it to be, let's say, about this far in. So I'm leaving a little bit of a space. So if I measure that, sort of eyeballing things as usual. So that's about 4 1/4. So if I make that 8.5 inches, and then I want it to be about this big. I am very technical, very precise. Not. I kind of make things up as I go along. Put that away. And so if I fold this, I'm really having trouble just with the simple task of folding things in half today. I'm not quite sure why. Something's gone wrong. Brain's not cooperating. Okay. So this will, I want it this way. That's going to open up this way. If you wanted to, you could open it this way, so you've got double. You could put it on this side. Mine is going to go over here. And I am going to actually stick it down straight away. And I might just use double-sided tape today. Oops. Bits of paper stuck to it from the last project. Let's get rid of that. So you could use glue if you wanted to. You could use your glue stick, your wet glue. But I'm thinking cardstock on cardstock. I can just use the double-sided tape. Express It is the brand that I like to use. the center. And I've gone all around the edges because I don't want any of the edges lifting off. Now, what did I say I was doing? I was doing that, wasn't I? Yes. So if I just line that up. Oh, that's not straight. What have I done? What have I done? Something moved along the way. This is not straight. Oh, wow. This is another 11 o'clock at night project. Please be aware. So it's going to be silly. All right. Here we go. Okay, so I have, this is just the bare bones of my medical report folio. I'm going to have something on the front. Open up. There might be something pockety here, something there. I have sort of a plan of what's going to go on the cover of this. Inside will be journaling opportunity, plus embellishments perhaps. And on the back, I will stick the envelope. Might embellish the envelope a little bit, and inside will go something special. I'm not going to stick the envelope on just now because I'm still decorating the actual folio itself, and having the envelope stuck on the back will make that a little bit difficult. Okay, so having done that, I now don't know what else. I sort of planned, but it's still forming in my head. So it's very late now. I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to come back tomorrow when I have some more ideas. Okay, so I've been thinking a little bit, a lot, all last night and all today, of what I really wanted to do with this. Because as always, I am making it up as I go, and sometimes I don't really have a plan. So I decided the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to decorate the cover. And I was going to use a lot of that healing themed papers and embellishments that I've put aside, but I thought, no, taking a different approach now, typical, I might use some of those on the inside, but for the actual front of the cover, I thought it might be really appropriate to actually use my focus verse for this retreat and put it on the front cover. And seeing my focus verse is really just a line. So my focus line for the retreat: the blind and the lame came to him in the temple and he healed them. I thought, I had one of my brainstorms, I thought I'm going to do a picture of a stained glass window onto which I'm going to write my focus line, and then I'll cut it out and use that to decorate my front cover of my little folio medical report, whatever we're calling it at the moment. So what I've done is I've drawn a very rough, I know I'm not a great drawer, so I've drawn a stained glass window, just putting some white card underneath so you can see, because I've actually drawn it on vellum. Another of my crazy brainstorms. Don't ask me why. There's no reason why I couldn't have drawn it just on paper. But I thought it would be interesting to have that sort of almost see-through effect. And then, of course, my brain started ticking, and I have planned a really great activity. Well, I haven't planned it. It's in the planning. I've planned a great activity that might involve stained glass windows for our November retreat. Yeah, I know. I need a few months to prepare. So I'm actually going to start by just colouring some, not even all, but some of the squares on my window, because some of them are going to have, some of them I'm going to colour and have the words written over them in white, and then others I'm just going to have just plain colour or just some designs. So I actually have a little template on the side so that I get it right. I'm using my Inktense pencils, and I've chosen a light blue and a dark blue. And whether or not that's wise, seeing it's going to be over the top of a blue background, who knows? We'll find out. As always, I am being your guinea pig. So all I'm going to do, and I'm going to do most of this off camera because it'd be really boring for you to just sit there and watch me colour in, is I'm going to colour each of the squares that I want a particular colour. This has got a really funny shape to it. I think it's one of the ones that I sharpened with a bread knife on retreat one day when I had no sharpener. Well, it could be the fact that I have this textured card on the bottom. Oh, there we go. That's a bit better. So don't put your piece of vellum over a piece of textured cardstock unless you actually want funny patterns. And I'm just colouring roughly because what I'm going to do then, being my ink tints which react well with water, is I'm going to get a wet brush. Don't dry the brush too much. And then I'm going to use the brush to actually paint the window with my ink tints colour. I had originally planned to use my distress inks for this. I thought it might have been a really good use for them, but they did not like staying on vellum. I had a bit of a practice beforehand just to make sure, just as well, because otherwise you'd be laughing. But they did not, the distress inks did not like being painted over vellum. Some colours worked well, but most of them not. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to colour most of my squares with my ink tints, paint them with water, and on some of the squares that will not have writing, some of them will be just plain coloured and some will have a little design that I'm still making up. So I'll be back in a little while with a finished window. Okay, so I feel like I cheated a little bit doing all this off camera, but it would have been really boring to watch me. It took about, I don't know, an hour or something. So what I've done is I have used my ink tints pencils to paint the squares. Now most of these blue squares are going to have words written on them, and then the others I painted a design on them. I've left this part white because I think I'm going to paint it silver. But before I do any more, because of the water that was used with my pencils, the vellum has really warped a lot. So I am going to, because once again it's quite late, I'm going to put it under some very heavy things, some books, overnight to flatten it out again. And then tomorrow I'll come back and I will paint this silver bit, draw black lines between all these diamond shapes and write my words on, and then we'll continue decorating our medical report folio thing. Right, so I may or may not have made a mistake using vellum for my stained glass window, because after an overnight trip underneath some very heavy stuff, it's still a little bit warped. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this back under my pile of heavy papers and books and let it sit there for a couple of days longer. And while that's happening, I'll work on just decorating the rest of the medical report, as I'm starting to call it now. So leaving the front cover for now, leaving the back for now because that's where the envelope will go, I'm going to decorate this little booklet part, or the actual report part of the medical folder. I don't know. I still don't know what I'm calling it. Feel free, please. Comments below. Tell me what I should call this thing. It might have a name by the end of the project. Who knows? So I have some cardstock pulled out, the same colours as the two that I've used. So I'm keeping it pretty, well, at the moment, pretty simple, something. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear a bit of this, not because I don't have scissors, but because it's what I'm going for. Cut it about here. As usual, just eyeballing it. I almost took my finger off there. And I'm going to stick that on here. And I think I will actually use the wet glue this time, simply because it's not a straight edge. And I am using my Art Glitter brand glue. which is still my current favourite. And I'm just going to stick that on here. No rhyme or reason, wherever you like it. And then I am going to cut a piece of the white and I'm not actually going to glue that down just yet because I am going to put some sort of design or perhaps my focus verse / line, which is going to be on the, it's going to be written on the stained glass, but I might actually write it out again here. Not quite sure yet, or I might write something else. I'm still making it up as I go, as you can tell. Now, I'm thinking, I want to put a bit of washi tape on this for decoration, and I'm thinking, I've kept it all blue and white, but because I've got the stained glass on the front, I might use some of my stained glass washi tape. I think that might be kind of pretty. And also because this particular design has, like everything I do, it has a secret meaning, which I'm not going to share because it's a secret. Oh dear. But yeah, my girls and Guy, you all understand. You know what I'm talking about when I talk about all my secret stuff. So I'm just putting a bit of washi on there. So that's going to be the front cover of my little booklet. We'll come back to this after I've decided what's going on there. Now inside, I am going to just rip a little bit more of the blue. And I'm going to stick that down. Oops. And the plan here is to keep this side for journaling. So this, the left-hand side will be the decorative bit and the right hand will be the actual secret journaling something. I can't really say what's going there until it's happened because I'm making this video before I actually head off to the retreat. My son's just come creeping past as quietly as he can on his tippy toes whilst pulling a funny face at me trying to make me laugh. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some ink because I think it's looking a little bit boring, and I'm just going to ink the edge of that. And I like that better. Then I'm going to pull out my stash of medical stuff. Okay, so while I'm making these little bits and pieces, ideas are coming through my head, and I'm starting to think that I'm going to use this. I keep coming up with new ideas for the actual use, but I was always going to use this as a bit of a journal for this little retreat that we are all going on this weekend. But I think I'm going to, yes, I'm going to use it as a journal. Yes, it's going to hold a lot of secret journaling. It's also going to be a bit of a, I won't say a photo album because I don't think I'll put any photos in it, but it might be like a little bit of a memorabilia album journal. So I might find some little things along the way that I'll end up putting into pockets or keeping in this. So it will be like a memory book. So it's a medical report / memory book. The further we go, the more convoluted this is going to become. So I'm going to decorate it simply, but have lots of little pockets and things where I can put special things in that I pick up along the way. I have plans, don't I? It'd be quite funny if it ends up being raining and I'm stuck in a room all day. So I'm using my other stained glass washing, because I have two of them. And I'm just putting a little bit of the stained glass on here. So tying it all together, it's all like a blue and white, but the bits of colour are going to come from the washi tape and the stained glass on the front. So I'm going to stick this in, and there will be something written on this. I don't know what yet. I've got a couple of things in my head. So I have half a plan. And as usual, my plan sort of progresses as I go along. And it's a bit of a case of who knows. Who knows what will happen? We'll see. So I'm putting this. There'll be something written on this. Now, I've grabbed my emergency room stickers from Reminisce, and I am grabbing the... Oh, I meant to put that down before I stuck this. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, that's appropriate. I am going to... First, see, this is what I mean about me making my plans as I go along. I never know quite what I'm going to do until I do it. I'm going to ink the sticker a bit because it does look a little bit boring to me. And I'm hoping it's not going to be a bad idea because it's quite a glossy surface. Now I'm going to put the sticker down here. So because this is... This is the all better part. Oh, there's logic to my madness. There really is. Okay, so that's that. There's going to be journaling here. And then I thought I might use a little bit of this paper that I used on my Bible journaling page for this retreat. I had a little bit left and I thought, oh, this would be nice to bring it all together. So I just cut a little bit of the heartbeat pattern, ripped it across the top, and what I'm going to do is I am going to fold up a little bit here, and I'm only going to put the glue along that edge. And create a bit of a tip in with it. So that maybe makes much more sense to do it this way, doesn't it? So that my secret journaling can actually take on true secret journaling form. And even though it will already be inside inside a double cover, it will also be written mostly under here. So that is the paper decorated part of the page. I'll come back and do a bit of drawing, sketching, border making around here. Now that's waiting for this to happen. Now I have this really, really awesome sticker which I thought was so appropriate for this retreat, which a trip to the emergency room, because it's kind of what I'm taking by coming to this little place that I am at this weekend. Very much needing the time here. So I wanted to stick it here, but I don't want to waste this whole page by sticking a big sticker on it and then nothing will happen. So what I'm going to do is I've cut a piece of white card, slightly bigger than the sticker. It's only a piece of offcut that I've been practicing stuff on, but this side is white. And all I really am interested in is the border, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stick the sticker onto the card. Like so. And then I'm going to stick the card on here, but I'm only going to stick... I'm just trying to think of which way I want it. I think I'd like it this... No, that way. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of which side I like the opening. And I thought if I have the opening here, anything I put in will interfere with the fold of the spine and this little booklet. So I'm going to glue these three sides and have it open on the outer edge of the booklet. So just a thin strip of glue. And I'm going to stick it down quite close to the spine, but not too close because I don't want it to come unstuck every time I open and close it with the fold there. I do this, and so now I have a little pocket that I can slip things into. So if I find anything interesting in my travels that I'd like to put in there as memorabilia or something to use later or whatever, who knows? Who knows? There are a few things going through my mind of what I imagine I might put in there, but I won't say anything yet because I don't know. Right. So here we go, here we go. Now I am going to go away and try. I've just had an idea of what to do about this, so I'm going to go and try. It's going to be either really clever, why did I not think of this before, or oh my goodness, disastrous, what were you thinking? So I'll be back either with this lovely flattened stained glass, or I'll be coming back going, okay, plan B. Hang in there. So my super duper secret thing did not work so well. I actually tried to iron the vellum to see if I could flatten it down, and it only worked a little bit. So I think it just needs some more time underneath some heavy stuff, hopefully. Yeah, again, I do these things as experiments. I've cut it out, and what I'm also going to do is, because I've decided that I don't like the idea of just sticking it like this, it's too dark. So I have actually cut out a piece of white card that I will stick underneath it, so it's a little bit lighter. But I'm not sticking it down just yet. I am going to, just in black, do the lines between the sections of stained glass. So I will do all of those. Just like that with a ruler. I will actually do those off camera later. I might end up using a Sharpie because it's not colouring very well. So I'll do that later and then put it underneath something heavy to flatten it some more and come back to the cover last of all. Now I've done a few things. My little white card that is going here, I thought of something that I wanted to write, which is a bit of one of the themes, one of my own personal themes this retreat. You all have your own. Everybody's here for their own reasons. And I could say there's stuff going on. I think that's my theme song. There's stuff going on. So anyway, I'm just going to stick that down. And I know what it means. And that's all that matters. So I'm just popping that down. What I've also done is I have inked the edges as much as I could. It's a bit of a mess there because it was already stuck in. I always forget to ink my edges before sticking things together. So I've done that to all my white bits. Just, it gives it a little bit more depth and makes it not so stark on your page. Did not do it to this square because I've actually drawn a black border around it. So that's the cover of my little inside booklet. Happy with that, leaving it as is. Pretty much leaving this as is for now. There's going to be writing going on, something's here. I'm not quite sure yet what, so I'm leaving it for now, and once it's finished, at some point during the retreat, I will put pictures up in my Facebook group, God's Refrigerator, not only in the event for the retreat, but also on the main group. So anybody who wants to come and join us, I'll show you my finished pictures. I also found, I've got a couple of things that I'm playing with now. In the Living the Quarantine Life by Photo Play, a lovely fun set of papers. They also have some die cut pieces. And one of the pieces is this little notebook or medical kind of file notebook. And I really like it. So I'm going to stick it here in such a way that it does not cover the sticker. And I will have something to write at some point, again, during the course of the retreat. I'm actually having a little bit of time for myself. So I'll, while the retreat is in progress, I will leave you girls and Guy to do your thing while I go off and do my thing. she's so cryptic. But I've got a little thing booked for myself, and I think that's when this little booklet will actually shine. So there'll be some stuff written there. And I'm kind of thinking that this is a bit boring. And I can't really go drawing a border because it's such a dark colour. So I might just put some more of this stained glass washi around the page, just to brighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to put some along the bottom here. It's a little bit too big. I'm just going to cut off that little odd bit. And then put some across the top. I'm not great at judging things, am I? All right, so that's, yeah, a little bit prettier, I think. Okay, so I have these two. Journaling. Might put something here if I find a cool sticker or something. Memorabilia or things, special things in here. Cover yet to be done because stained glass needs to be flattened. So coming back to the back, I have my envelope that I'm going to stick down, and inside this envelope will go some more secret journaling. So strangely enough, even though the theme of this retreat is healing rather than secret journaling per se, well, secret journaling is what I do, so any of my retreats you come along to, there's going to be secret journaling stuff done. I'm going to be pushing that secret journaling thing because it's, yeah, I think it's important. Well, it is for me. For me, it's very important, and yeah, so it features in everything I do. I won't go on because I've gone on enough in my previous sessions. So that's nicely stuck down. Now, what I want to do, I found this super, super cool die cut in the same pack, which I thought would be a really great closure for the envelope. But I don't really want to, well, I don't want to seal it right now. So I'm just going to stick it just on the flap here. And it would be really great actually if I had some of those Velcro dots. That would actually be perfect for me. But I don't think I have any, so I might have to leave that as it is for now. And at one point in the future, when all this madness is over and we can get back out into the world and to shops, which I'm avoiding so much at the moment, not because I'm scared of getting sick, but for many other reasons. Once the world is back to normal, I will go somewhere where I can get the Velcro dots, and I might put a Velcro dot closure here under the heart so that I can get into the envelope, but it doesn't open like this all the time because that would drive me nuts. So for now, what I will do is I'll just use a tiny bit of washi tape. Oh dear, that's the end of the roll of my washi. Gorgeous girls. So I'm just going to put a little dab of washi tape to hold it down for now. Okay, so I will come back when I have the front cover, but we're almost done. Okay, so I've been cheating a little bit and gathering some supplies off camera because otherwise it would have been a very long video sitting here watching me go through stuff for an hour trying to decide what I actually wanted to do. As you can see, I have done my black outlines of the separate stained glass pictures. It was probably a bad idea using this watercolor pencil on the vellum because it's still wrinkly and warped, and I don't know if it's ever going to come good. I kind of played with the idea of perhaps starting all over again and doing something different, but I thought no, don't do that, because, well, we've gone through all this trouble, right? So I'm just cutting this down because I realized that one side was bigger than the other and it was annoying me. But yes, I decided to embrace this whole theme of healing and go with the idea that yes, I am very, very far from perfect, and so this is a bit of a mess, but so am I. So I'm just going to keep it. So I have stuck it to a piece of white card because sticking it straight onto this blue background just was not doing it for me. I'm kind of playing with the idea of putting something white behind it, but I think at this point I'll leave it. I am going to brighten up the cover a little bit though with my stained glass washi tape. So I'm going to give it a spine. I think that will make it a little bit prettier because it's kind of dark at the moment, or blue like that. So I'm just folding it over so it's half on one side, half on the other. And then I have a pretty stained glass spine. I like the inside. I'm liking the inside. I think it's pretty cool. The cover I'm not so happy about, but I think over time things will be added to it. All right, so I am going to glue this up here. And there's a reason why I'm putting it quite up close up the top, because I'm going to stick some of this gem ribbon. So let me just, I'll leave this down here so I know how much space the gem ribbon's going to take. And I'm going to, I'm using the art glitter glue for this because I do want it to stick very well. So I don't really trust double-sided tape to hold perfectly well, especially where the curves are. And I'm going to leave a tiny bit of space because there's something else going on down here. Something right about there will do. And then I will cut this. Yeah, this is kind of, it came on a roll. It's called Merry Christmas, and I bought it from a fabrics shop down here in Australia, from Lincraft for Aussie girls. I got this last Christmas, and it's flexible like ribbon, but it's kind of, I think it's made of vinyl. And it's got these little fake gems, which is kind of cute. So I'm going to cut it to size. And I'm going to stick it down here. This should be fun. I guess if I put a blob of glue on each of the circles, this will be exciting to watch. This is the point where you put the YouTube video into fast forward. Or go and make yourself a cup of tea. Open another tab on the computer and watch something else while I put glue on every single dot. Okay. And I'll pop it down here. And yes, I do see this funny bit there that I need to cut off. I should probably wait till it's dry, but you know me, I cannot wait for things. Very impatient. Now, what I thought, I had this idea, I thought even though they're completely separate projects, we've made this clipboard this month, And this might get clipped onto the board at some point while it gets carried around at retreat. So I thought I'd kind of tie the two together by adding some of these flowers onto the cover, and then that will soften up this hard edge of the bottom of the stained glass window that kind of looks like it's hanging there with no purpose. So I'm thinking I've pulled out some pink and yellow and kind of mint colour, and I think if I stick them like that, that will be rather pretty. Having to be careful that I don't cover the words that I've written on the stained glass. I forgot to draw your attention to that, but I'm sure you can all see it. I've actually written my verse, my focus line on the stained glass windows. I'm not sure if you can see the blind and the lame up here because it's on a light coloured window. I thought of doing it in black, but I think that would look a little bit stark and yucky. So I've left it white on very pale blue. I can see it. So it's all good. I'm just putting big blobs of glue underneath each flower and lining them up. Whoops. I'm not sure how well this is going to work because I'm not sticking them onto the card. I'm sticking them onto the plastic of this ribbon strip thing. So it's a bit of an experiment, as is everything I do. Okay, so I am now going to put this underneath something heavy to dry. Now the flowers are still drying. They're almost there, but some of them are moving a bit, so I'm not going to touch them. As you can see, I can't leave things alone, so I've actually stuck a little bit more of that gem ribbon around the sides, and I think that brightens it a little bit. I'm going to stop now. I might end up writing a title or sticking something from some pamphlets or something that I might find at the actual retreat centre. But for now, I'll stop. So if I add anything else, which I will when I go to the inside and start writing and decorating during the retreat. So if you want to see the progress of this medical report / memory book, I'm still trying to come up with a name. If you want to see the progress, then come on over to our Facebook group, God's Refrigerator, or friend me on Facebook, come see me on Instagram, all my social links are down below. So come on over and say hi and share your medical memory report book folio. Give me a name for it, and make one for yourself. Come over and show me and the rest of the girls and guys in the group, or on my Facebook profile, wherever you like to share. I would love to see yours, and would love to hear what you actually use yours for. So this has been my thing without a name for the August 2020 art retreat. Your faith has made you well. Thank you very much for joining me. Okay, bye.